Judas Priest are back on the road with their brand new Shield of Pain tour. And in all honesty, it is nothing like we expected it would be. So today, let's take a look at the setlist and the overall production of Judas Priest's new tour, discuss some strange things about it, and then talk about whether this tour has met the fans' expectations and has matched the hype around it. Here you go. Real quick, as always, please do not hesitate to comment on anything you hear or see in this video, and especially if you disagree with me, because the whole point of our Defenders of the Faith series is of course to start a conversation. But alright, let's do it! When I was preparing my setlist prediction videos for the Shield of Pain tour, I was really trying to balance out the songs from the rather demanding albums like Painkiller and Invincible Shield, trying to find the ones which would not be too hard for the band to perform at the given night. And especially given the fact that Judas Priest are, well, not really a young band.
Not really, we've still got a few years left in us.
And here I just have to point out that pretty much all of mine and all of the other setlist predictions that I have seen online were absolutely wrong. Kicked off the tour with its skull-crushing All Guns Blazing, which by the way was used as a concert opener for the very first time in the band's entire career, after which right away continued with yet another Painkiller banger, Hell Patrol. And overall, just running a little bit ahead of myself here, I just have to point out that before the start of this tour, Ian Hill clearly said that Judas Priest will not perform Painkiller in its entirety on the Shield of Pain tour. And he didn't actually lie, as they performed it almost in its entirety, leaving just 2 songs off of it out of the setlist, and overall representing the legendary 1990 record with 7 skull-crushing tracks, not including the intro tape of Battle Hymn. And so after playing All Guns Blazing and Hell Patrol right at the beginning of the show, Judas Priest went on to represent Painkiller by performing A Touch of Evil, which in all honesty is possibly my favorite song of a Painkiller and the one I really wanted Judas Priest to finally perform live once again. And after The Touch of Evil, they performed Nightcrawler for the very first time since 2012, One Shot at Glory, which was vastly ignored by the band for decades, yet has found its way into a Judas Priest setlist lately, Between the Hammer and the Anvil, and of course the legendary title track, without which the celebration of Painkiller would of course be quite incomplete. The Painkiller. So the only 2 songs from Painkiller which Judas Priest did not perform live this year yet are Metal Meltdown and Leather Rebel, which by the way Judas Priest played live before only twice in their entire career, which goes against all of the wildest dreams and speculations among the Judas Priest community, as most of us believe that Judas Priest could possibly play a maximum of 5 songs from Painkiller on this tour. And if we're being honest, after I thought more and more about it, I actually thought that even 5 would be quite unrealistic, and they would most likely play 3 to 4 tracks from Painkiller and around the same amount from Invincible Shield. Yet I don't think that anyone actually expected the band to perform 7 songs from one of the craziest heavy metal albums ever made at the 56th year of their existence. But in addition to Painkiller, this tour of course is also celebrating the band's latest studio release, Invincible Shield, which this time around was represented by Gates of Hell, which the band did play a handful of times back in 2024, but also The Serpent and the King, which we predicted quite rightfully in our previous videos, and an unexpected, yet a very emotional and a touchy Giants in the Sky, one of the most unexpectedly beloved songs from Invincible Shield, which the band of course dedicated to all of the fallen heroes of heavy metal who are sadly no longer with us. But even that is not it, as amidst the very demanding, especially, physically demanding setlist comprised of the songs of Painkiller and Invincible Shield, Judas Priest also somehow decided to squeeze in such songs as Free Will Burning. Yes, you heard that right. But also Firepower, Judas is Rising, and even a deep cut from Point of Entry record Solar Angels, which at least to me was possibly the biggest surprise of all that night. And the rest of the setlist, of course, comprised of the biggest hits, without which a Judas Priest concert would not be possible today in 2025. But here's a wild and crazy observation for you guys about this setlist. As looking closer into it, you will notice that the band has actually performed only one song from their 1970s era. Just one, which I don't think has ever happened before. And even that track was simply the one without which Judas Priest could not go off the stage unless they wanted a riot in a city. And by the way, guys, it's so awesome to see so many of you rocking out Metal Pilgrim merch at the Shield of Pain tour. I mean, honestly, seeing the photos of you there is simply amazing. So please keep them coming. And also, if you would like to receive a t-shirt like this, which I can send pretty much anywhere across the world, just know that you can order it via a link in the description to this video. Production-wise, Shield of Pain tour is pretty similar to what we are used to expect from Judas Priest over the past couple of years. Yet an interesting thing is that this time around, Judas Priest actually did not utilize their legendary Judas Priest cross, or at least it was not hanging up from the ceiling the way we saw it in the last couple of tours. Which I kind of wonder whether it will be a permanent thing, or, Judas Priest will actually bring it back on their solo dates, but I guess we'll see what happens later. And so this time around, the Judas Priest symbol has found its way to the back of the stage, appearing sometimes in front of an enormous screen behind the stage. And overall, it's kind of cool how on this tour, Judas Priest were once again able to unite the old school backdrops on the sides of the stage with the new technology and cool visuals on the main screen. And to answer a potential question, yes, some of the visuals were most likely made with the help of AI, just like the ones on the Iron Maiden's Run for Your Lives tour. Yet in this case it was done rather tastefully and complementary to the artworks of Mark Wilkinson, which appeared behind the back. And a separate shout out once again, just like on any Judas Priest tour, has to be given to the light and engineering crew, who did an incredible job for this tour, perfectly enhancing every song and every visual on the screen with just the perfect light for it. But overall, I have to point out that at least from the videos sent to me by you, Metal Pilgrims, who actually attended that concert, the production of that tour seems massive and pretty much spotless, and definitely matches the ambitions of this tour, which has definitely been one of the most anticipated ones in the world of metal in 2025. When it comes to the form of the boys performing on stage, well, I mean, it's Judas Priest. What do we expect? Of course they're amazing! Overall, the band sounded very tight, and I guess the whole fact that they have just finished their previous tour around a month ago did help it out quite a lot. But also, let's not forget that this was just the first show of the tour with an absolutely new setlist, many songs from which Rob Halford hasn't sung for years. So even if there were slight imperfections, they should disappear as the band becomes more comfortable with this set of songs. Although the tempo of this tour doesn't really allow for any warm-up time. So yeah, but if we are trying to be very honest, I guess only time will tell about how the band will be able to sustain a setlist like this after they perform at least 5 to 7 concerts on this tour. So is the Shield of Pain tour worth the hype, and has it met the expectations? Of course, yes! I even dare to say that it overachieved those. So my honest opinion is that if you guys have a chance to witness this tour live and you're still contemplating whether to do that or not, I, in all honesty, just don't understand what you are even thinking about. Just do it! As first of all, well, let's be honest guys, Judas Priest are not gonna be around forever. As much as we would love for them to continue going for another 50 years, but that is the truth. And secondly, even if we just leave that aside, well, this tour is nothing like anything this band has done before, and nothing like what they will most likely perform in the future. It is the first tour in the band's career to honor both their legacy album and their newest studio release. It is the tour on which they perform more songs from Painkiller than during the Painkiller tour. It is the tour concentrating on their post-1970s sound. It is a tour for all the die-hard Judas Priest fans, yet it will be appreciated by a casual listener just as much. So yes, in my opinion, it is definitely a tour to not miss out on. But anyways, what do you guys personally think about the Shield of Pain tour, and are you planning to see the band live on it? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!